How to stop people pleasing and take back your power. If you're someone who is always overgiving, always putting other people's needs before yours, this video is dedicated to you. From the title, you know what we're going to talk about today. I will cover the different signs that you are a people pleaser in case you are unsure whether you are one or not. We're going to talk about why we become people pleasers, and then I will give you a step-by-step guide on how to start breaking this cycle. The reason why I'm making this video is mainly because when I was walking Saturday morning, I went for a walk and I started reflecting. Usually whenever I take a walk, I reflect about life. Sometimes I'm just focusing on the waves and enjoying the present moment, the breeze. But when the walks are long, I start reflecting and thinking about things. So something that came to my mind was how much my life has changed since the moment when I buried this old identity, the people pleaser that was in me, and shifted to the new identity that I am today. My life has changed drastically. And not only that I'm feeling really well and that I'm happy and I no longer feel any kind of anxiety or fear or self-doubt, but also how much it has affected my life in general, from professional development, like the things that I have achieved on a professional level in the past year, from experiences, from relationships with other people, and how I communicate with other people. Like, so many things have changed. And I really want to help other people who are stuck in the loop where I was before to get out of this loop, because I know really well how it feels. I know really well how difficult it is to get out of it. So this video will be exactly about that. And make sure to share this video as well with other people that are unaware of this video, that need to hear all the things that I'm going to share today. So I got my coffee ready here, my water, and let's begin. Hello, Alex. Hope you had a great weekend. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to start with is the different archetypes that are, or the different archetypes that exist in this psychological way of analyzing the different behaviors. So we have different archetypes, and the first one is the healed version of you, the true you, when you have full emotional control, when you know your true self, when you're peaceful, calm, and your life is pretty much balanced and sorted, like mine now. But there are not many people that are this archetype. Majority of people can find themselves in the other archetypes. And it doesn't mean that if you start healing, that once you heal, that you might not fall back into some of the old patterns again. That's why it's important to maintain the practices that I'm going to share later in order to be able to maintain this healed version of you. Because, as I said, there are not many people that are this archetype. So other archetypes are people pleaser, narcissist, fixer, the overachiever or the perfectionist, then victim mindset, like people that have this victimhood integrated in them. They think that everything is happening to them, not for them. And did I miss any? Oh, and avoidant. I have my notes here, so I'm not gonna miss something. And the avoidant archetype, a person who is having hard time to show any kind of emotions, that is very cold on the surface, that is that is having difficulty expressing emotions and understanding other people's emotions. So these are the general archetypes. It doesn't mean that you're just one of them. You can be a mix of different ones, and some of them are overlapping. And something that I'm going to talk about today, and I'm going to focus mainly on, is people pleaser / fixer, because they have very similar traits, and narcissist, because this is the archetype that is attracted by the people pleaser. So if you're a people pleaser, the chances that you have narcissists around you are very high. So why do we become people pleasers? Let's break it down. And then we're going to start, once we talk about why we become people pleasers, I will mention a few triggers that narcissists are using to trigger your emotions, so that you're going to keep being in this cycle, so that you can catch them next time and ask yourself twice whether you're going to say yes. And then I'm going to give you at the end, I'm going to give you the step-by-step guide that I followed myself. And I want to tell you that it's not something that you can fix overnight. It's something that you have to practice in order to be able to get rid of. Yeah, my weekend was amazing. I didn't just charge my batteries, I charged even the reserves. So why do we become people pleasers? When we are children, if you have been praised for being a good girl or a good boy, for helping other people, or being punished for not following different demands or different requests, or if you have been if your emotions have been avoided and your needs haven't been considered as important, this can be another reason why you might have become a people pleaser. Then if you had to parent your parents, and what do I mean by that? Unfortunately, majority of people are not self-aware. Majority of people don't have much knowledge about mindset, behavioral patterns, and how different behaviors affect children. And this is something that every single parent should go through, in my opinion. So if you have a child, or you're expecting a child, or if you're planning to have children, you have to learn about behavioral patterns and how different situations and how different ways of upbringing your child will affect them. So many parents are unaware that are emotionally unavailable. They are wounded. So I know many people that blame their parents, but you should not blame your parents, because they are operating from their survival mode. So they are just trying to survive, and they're unaware of how they are affecting you whenever they do what they do. So for example, when our parents are unaware of how these things are affecting us, what happens is, let's say they start fighting over financial problem at home. They should not fight in front of children about the financial problem. Why? Because this is showing to children, this is directly like putting children into fixer mode or in survival, because there is danger. Children feel that it's not safe at home, something is happening. And in this case, usually children step in and they say, "Mom, please don't shout," or "Dad, please don't shout." Or they go into freeze mode and they hide in the corner and they just listen to their parents fighting. So all these things are affecting children. And usually when you grow up, or already when you were a child, you are comforting your parents. So as a child, you analyze the conversation between your parents, you see how they are responding to each other. I believe they have some form of the archetypes that I mentioned before, because healed people will not shout and argue and make a huge drama and conflict in front of children. So as a child, you analyze from the side what your parents are talking about or arguing about, and then you might go to, if let's say your mom has a victim archetype, you might go or your mom might come to you, because there are many parents that will come to the children and they will start complaining about the other parent. And you will start comforting them, or you will start, if let's say one of them triggers the other one and the father, let's say, starts shouting on the mother, you will go and attack the father because you don't know what caused the actual trigger, but you just heard the shouting. You just heard who started shouting first. So you will go and to your father or to your mom, whoever is in the situation, and you will start trying to calm them down, trying to soften the situation. So this is a very common thing. Then another thing can be, as I said before, your emotions being dismissed or not noticed. And this is usually happening, it can happen both in families where you have both mom and dad, you're growing up with both mom and dad, but it's more common in families where the parents are divorced. And for example, a single mom that is very busy and she don't have, because of the stressful life that she's living in, she would not have enough time to pay attention to the needs of the child. So there are different factors and different situations that can affect us, but all these situations as children have programmed our subconscious mind to believe in certain things. So the way how we've been treated has created different beliefs that we have continued to live by. And in order to be able to break this cycle, we will have to, of course, change the beliefs. So let me first talk about why people pleasers attract narcissists and why it's important to be aware of that. And then we're going to talk about the different steps that you should take in order to be able to break from this cycle. Let me just check if everything is all right. Yes. Yeah, so if you've grown up a childhood where you thought that love is to be needed, love is to take care of others. So if you have been conditioned to believe that love is conditional, then you are most likely a people pleaser or a fixer, or the blend of both. And it's coffee. It's coffee. The fixer also comes up when you have to fix situations in order to make peace. So you step into the situation in order for your nervous system to calm down so that, for example, your parents will stop arguing or shouting or having conflicts at home. So why do people pleasers attract narcissists? And here I'm going to also share the traits of a people pleaser. So if you're not sure if you're one of them, pay attention now and you will see if you're one of them. Let me first start with people pleasers, or I can actually blend them together. So a people pleaser is a person who gives without being asked to give or without being questioned. And a narcissist, the narcissist is a person who naturally takes without feeling any kind of guilt. So this is the first thing that makes them bond perfectly. Second thing is people pleaser is the one that gives attention, that shows admiration, and the narcissist naturally seeks approval and seeks attention. This is another trait. Then third thing is people pleasers usually try to avoid conflicts, and narcissists are people that cause conflicts in order to be able to be in full control. So for example, if a people pleaser and a narcissist are together, when the narcissist will ask for something, the people pleaser will say just yes to avoid conflict, because if they say no, then the narcissist will start an argument and they will start saying the things that will trigger you in order for you to say yes. And I'm going to come to the most common phrases that narcissists use in order to keep you in the loop. Then another thing is, I mentioned the approval. People pleasers are used to regulate other people's emotions, so they think that they are responsible for other people's emotions. And this is usually coming from, let's say a child has done something and like a trouble at home, and then the mom would approach the child and would say, when you do this, you make me feel really sad. You disappoint me a lot. So you are punished for things that you have done, rather than the parent coming, talking to you and explaining and breaking down what are the different consequences of whatever you have done. And sometimes parents are so stressed that they shout at you for no reason or not a big deal. You might, for example, drop a glass of water or drop a glass of soft drink or whatever and spill, and they will start shouting at you because of their cortisol being way too high, and they start blaming you for you frustrating them and irritating them. When the actual reason why your parents are frustrated and irritated at this certain situation is not the fact that you have spilled water that will just dry up, or you spilled something else. It's their nervous system not being regulated. And in such kind of situations, children learn that they are the ones that are responsible for their parents' emotional state. And this is teaching the brain to trigger guilt, for you to start feeling guilty whenever you do something wrong. So that's not wrong. Everyone can, it can happen to everyone to be clumsy, to drop and break a glass, or to make something similar. But this has taught the child that whenever I do something wrong, I'm the one responsible that makes my mom or dad to be frustrated, sad, to shout at me, etc., etc. So people pleasers are the ones that have learned that they are responsible for other people's emotions, and narcissists are people that avoid regulating their own emotions. So they are people that are putting the blame on everyone else but not on themselves. So that's why all these characteristics are making a people pleaser to be a perfect match for a narcissist, because they're both meeting each other's needs. So this one is seeking for what one of them is seeking for, the other one is giving. So that's why they are a perfect combination. And whenever we are trapped in a circle of narcissists, it's very difficult to get out of this circle, because they will trigger us over and over and over again, unless we become aware of it and we start changing the patterns. I have to drink. Whenever I talk, my mouth gets so dry. But maybe I have to take some water, not just coffee. I'm old school with my notes. Pen and paper. So let me read the different trigger statements that narcissists use to trigger your emotions in order to be able to keep you in the loop, so that you can satisfy their need. So usually when you try to express a need to a narcissist, or the way you're feeling, if they disappointed you in a way, or they disregarded your emotional state, they would say, for example, if you try to tell them, I didn't feel good when you told me this or when you told me that, or if you try to express some form of an emotion that they're not gonna like, they would say, you're too sensitive, or you are overreacting. So whenever they react, it's not an overreaction, but whenever you react, it's an overreaction. So if you try to complain or to protest about your own needs, they will always push on you that you're overreacting and that you are the problem, you're too sensitive. Another thing is, if you love me, you will do this for me. Or you have always helped me with this. Why not to help me this time around as well? These are another statements that they use. Or they would say, okay, I guess I'm always the bad one. So that you're gonna start saying like, no, this is also happening even with parents, like nothing, and I don't want you to blame narcissists. Narcissists are not evil, they are not bad people, they are just as wounded and as hurt as you are. So it's not something that they do because they want to act this way. Everyone wants to be healed, everyone wants to be at peace, but they have been conditioned to survive with these patterns, as you have been conditioned to survive with your patterns. So, for example, when they say, I guess I'm the bad bad guy always, what they want you to do and what they trigger in you is immediately your need of giving and your need of approval. So you would say, no, you're not bad. I didn't mean that. You're so good with this and that and da-da-da. And you are like, oh, the ego of the narcissist is to the roof. You satisfy their need immediately. So they know how to trigger you. They know what to say in order for you to respond the same way every single time to whatever they're asking for. Then another thing, and this is very common with, let me think of, for example, when you ask for something, I don't know if you're gonna resonate with this, but this is a personal example. When I would ask for something that that the person doesn't want to give it to me, or they don't want to spend time or energy or whatever, they would always say, okay, so you want to say that I'm a bad father, or I'm a bad partner, or I'm a bad friend. And every single thing that you ask for, whenever you also comment on something negative that they have done. So for example, if they hurt you in any kind of way, and you know deep inside how much frustration and anger you have and resentment, and when you try to express that, they will, instead of saying, oh, thank you for telling me that, let's sit and have a discussion and let's see how we can resolve this problem, how we can fix our communication issues. Instead of doing this, narcissists are always triggering drama. They're drama queens. So whenever you express, I felt this way when you told me this, they would say, oh, so you want to say that I'm a bad friend? You want to say that I'm a bad father, mother? You want to say that I'm a bad partner? Because they want you to start with, no, that's not what I mean. I want to say that you are a very good person, you're this, you're that, but you triggered me in this situation. But they will keep going until you start like, you're the best. And the conversation ends there. Another phrase is, no one will tolerate your sensitivity. No one will tolerate your behavior. You are too much. This is another thing that they usually say, and they make you feel like you're a burden to everyone. So even people that are not narcissists, even people that are fine with helping you and giving and are completely okay, you're not gonna ask for any kind of help or need because of the things that the narcissists are putting in your head. And since the chances of you attracting narcissists are very high, there is a chance that you're finding the narcissist, so that the reticular activating system is finding the narcissist to reconfirm this belief that if you express your needs, if you put your needs first, they will reconfirm that you are a burden. You should not ask for any needs. You should not think of your needs first. You should first take care of others. Then another common thing is if you try to break the pattern and complain about something or to break a cycle, they will immediately say, oh, you've changed. Another phrase that they use is, you used to care about me more. You don't care about me anymore. You don't love me anymore. So that you're going to start again. No, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care about you, etc., etc., etc. So these are the most common phrases that narcissists use in order to keep the people pleasers in the loop so that they can operate. So the first step towards breaking this cycle is to recognize when narcissists are using some of these phrases that I mentioned, and they might not sound exactly the same as I told you, but they will have a similar meaning. So whenever you're trying to express your needs, whenever you hear someone going against it or trying to push you a trigger, slow down. And first of all, the main problem why many people cannot break from this cycle is because they lack awareness. So they don't know when to take a step back in order to be able to think twice before they say yes to something or before they jump on helping and approving and doing whatever they're supposed to do. So the first step is awareness. And how do we build awareness? What I would do is to sit and journal and try to remember recent situations where you said yes, but deep inside you meant no. So this is the first step that I would do. Sit and spend as much time as it's needed and try to remember all the things that come to your mind for situations when you said yes, but you meant no. From there, you're going to start building more awareness of where this is reoccurring. Because believe me, the narcissists that you have around you, you have them, and they're going to come back because they know, oh, this person is meeting my needs. And by the way, as I said, don't blame them. They are wounded as you are. Their responsibility is not to stop taking advantage of you or benefiting from the lack of boundaries. It's your responsibility to set boundaries and to learn to say no. So they will always come back to you whenever they need the admiration, whenever they feel like they want to get their emotions regulated, no matter if the trigger is coming from your work or something else, or a lost trade or whatever it is coming from. So whenever they come to you, once you write down and build awareness of where these situations have happened recently, you will be more cautious and more aware when you have a conversation with this person next time. And when you have a conversation with this person next time, the second step is reaffirming that to your nervous system first, that setting boundaries is not rejection. It's you giving an instruction manual on how people are supposed to treat you based on what is aligned with the true person, with the true you, not the people pleaser, not the programmed version of you, but the healed version of you. And for that, in order to define that, I'm not going to go deep into this video on that topic because this is going to be a way too long video and it's not something that you can do quickly. But this is something that I go quite deep into in my course, and I usually help clients to do that through visualizations. So once you start reprogramming identifying the belief, reprogramming the belief, you start practicing and teaching your brain to integrate this new belief. So you should go from the belief of boundaries are rejection and love is conditional to boundaries are instructions for how people are supposed to treat me, and love is unconditional. I don't have to perform and I don't have to give in order to be loved. I'm worthy as I am. So this is the second step, and this is something that you will have to practice while you're doing the other things as well. Well, it's not like you just do the first step and then you go to the next step. It's a 4 or 5 step process that I'm going to give that you will have to repeat and repeat and repeat until you teach your brain to filter out the things that are not serving you and start focusing on the things that are serving you, and to shift to bury the old identity and start living with the new identity with these new beliefs. So first, as I said, is awareness. Become aware of where you are saying yes, but deep inside you know that it's a no, and it's something that you wouldn't really do, and it's not something that is coming, that excites you, that's something that you would like to do. An example can be if your boss is asking you to work extra hours all the time. And whenever they approach you and they say, can you please do these tasks? And can you please do those tasks, etc., etc. When they do that, if you're a people pleaser, you will say, sure, no problem. Yeah, I'll fix them. But deep inside, you know, oh, I wanted to go to the cinema with my friends, or I had planned a date night with my partner, or I had a bunch of other things and I'll have to stress and rush just because I have to sit for 2-3 more hours to finish the tasks that are not really my responsibility or were not given to me on time. So in order for you to start to get out of this pattern is first notice it. So if you have a boss, this is just an example for you to understand how to implement it in a case-based scenario. So if that's the case, you are not aware that, somewhere where I say yes, where I'm not supposed to say no, is at work. My boss usually asks me to stay over a couple of hours, and I always say yes without telling that this is not what I'm paid. This is not written in the contract. It's not something that we agreed on. So second thing we said, to start changing with consciousness, start changing your belief, the belief that was holding you in this loop. Third thing is take small steps. So instead of going and having the most uncomfortable conversation with the closest narcissist that you even have feelings for example, or you're very bonded with, start small with minor things, because you don't want to scare the brain. You want to start practicing little by little to get used to saying no. So identify some situations in your life where it's not that of a big deal to say no, but you should consciously start practicing saying no. So for example, when your friend asks you to go for coffee next time, and this friend is, let's say, it doesn't need to be a narcissist, it can be a victim archetype. So you might have a friend that is a victim archetype and she's all the time, or that's more common for girls, she's all the time coming to you to complain about breakups, to complain about how she has been treated by this guy or that guy. So these victim archetypes, they usually just call a people pleaser only when something got messed up or when they're super excited. So you give to them the time to listen and to reapprove whatever they're creating this victimhood scenario about themselves. Mainly they call more when they are after a bad situation rather than a good situation. But they're usually the ones that are always like, oh, I have to tell you something, let's meet immediately. So instead of just saying, sure, no problem, but let's meet for a coffee or come to my place or whatever you're gonna agree on, start practicing no. So start saying like, let me get back to you. It's a little bit hectic, or I'm not really feeling well. It doesn't have to be like, you might say, oh, but I'm gonna lie. No, you're not gonna lie. If it's something that exhausts you, if it's something that is draining you, you're not lying. If you say, let me get back to you because it's a little bit chaotic on my end as well, I need time for myself, or I'm not feeling well. You don't have to be sick with a fever or stomach sick to be sick. If you are mentally not feeling well, then you need time. You need to take your time to recharge. You need to take your time to take care of yourself, to meet your needs first. So whenever someone comes to you and asks for something, don't rush saying yes immediately. Pause. So first we've built the awareness. We know where to expect the triggers. We know the people. Once you start analyzing different situations, and believe me, the only way for you to build awareness is to journal. So start scanning and writing in a journal every single day, where did I say yes today, where I didn't really feel like saying yes. So once you do that for a certain period of time and identify where these triggers are appearing, you're going to be aware of them next time when they appear. Once they appear, instead of rushing to say yes, because now you are training your brain, your reticular activating system, the filter of the brain that I mentioned in the previous live streams, to pay attention to this trigger that I mentioned before. And once you identify the trigger, instead of rushing, you prepare to respond to them in a different way this time around. So you're not gonna go with the automatic autopilot response, yes, all the time. You are coming prepared in the situation whenever it's happening next time to handle it in a way that will not cause a conflict, because your brain is scared of conflict, or will avoid conflict at all costs. You will say something to just buy time. So once you say something that will buy time, like, I'll get back to you, or if they're calling you on phone, just say, I have a meeting, or I'm on another line, or just don't pick up. You don't have to pick up. And you can just say, sorry, I was showering when you called. So buy time and think twice. And think of how is the smartest way for me to not cause drama, but to say no in a nice way without saying the word no. So there is always a way to neglect something in a positive way. Is the example that I mentioned before. I really want to hear what happened, and I really want to understand how you're feeling after this situation and give you an advice and opinion to the female friend that had a bad date. But I'm not feeling really well right now. I need time for myself. So I will get back to you, or we can reconnect when I feel better. That's it. And you don't have to call them. They have to learn that they should take responsibility for their own emotions and emotional states. No one else is responsible for other people's emotions. Everyone should take responsibility for their own emotions, and everyone should take responsibility to heal from and reprogram the mindset that we have that is holding us in different loops. So once we start practicing saying no in small occasions, you should start preparing for the bigger ones. But don't jump on the bigger ones unless you have practiced saying no in small occasions, because you have to train your brain little by little. In the course, I explain this analogy with mental muscles, and I'm breaking down everything in details, teaching how to reinforce this new belief and how to reinforce these new ways of expression, the new affirmations that will help you to integrate this new belief. But as I said, I'm not going to go deep into this right now. If you want to go deeper and start working on yourself more, make sure to check out the link in the description. And once I release, you can just submit your email, and once I release the course, I will send emails and you can get a notification so that you can start going deeper. Some people manage to get out of situations on their own, but some people need help. Majority of people that seek help are able to get out of the loop faster than the ones that are trying to solve things on their own. I was trying to solve things on my own for a way too long time until I really broke and I saw, okay, I have to ask for help. I have to consciously decide and seek help to get out of this situation. And I did it through not only one thing, I did multiple things. So one of the things that I did was, of course, talking to a psychologist, keeping a journal. Another thing was going to retreats and going deeper to understand where these beliefs are coming from. Lots of visualizations and healing therapies, connecting with my inner child. So there are lots of things that I did, and the reason why I'm sharing this with you is for you to understand that this is not something that you can change overnight. It's something that will take time, but if you look for support and you ask for help, it will help you to get out of this cycle faster than if you're trying to do it on your own. So if you're interested, make sure to check out the link in the description, and you can join the community of supporters and healers that want to change their lives and to unlock their full potential. Then the fourth step is, as I said, always to be prepared for a different reaction. So let's say you have trained your brain already to start saying no in small occasions, and now you are approaching a very scary conversation. It can be, usually the most scary conversation for everyone is with their partner. So if your partner is a narcissist, that's the scariest part because there is too much emotion involved there. And usually we are attached to these kind of personalities when we are wounded. But once we start healing, the bonding is no longer there. In the last live stream, I shared my personal example, but I might share it in this live stream as well, because there are people that haven't maybe listened to the previous live stream. So I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna share shortly about it in this live stream as well. So there are conversations that are more uncomfortable than other ones. For example, you might not be that scared of saying no to your boss, or this might be the scariest thing for you, who knows, we're all different. But let's say if it's a partner, this can cause huge conflicts. This can cause quite a lot of turbulence at home, and tension and negativity. And guess what? You should not avoid it. You'll have to sit with it. So once you start training your brain to say no in smaller occasions, you should start increasing the challenge and go to the places that are very uncomfortable. So once you have built awareness, you're gonna know exactly which are the most toxic relationships and people that you have close to you, and the conversations that are scaring you the most. Once you identify them, you should be very prepared to go into this conversation. And once you go to this conversation, they will start again with the trigger phrases that I previously mentioned in order to keep you in the loop. But this time around, as soon as you hear one of these phrases that they say in order to trigger you, you should respond in a different way. So depending on what this situation is about, instead of just reaffirming, no, I didn't say that you're a bad person. No, it's not that I don't care about you or don't love you. You explain the situation as an emotionally mature person, and you explain to them in a way like a healed adult, emotionally mature adult, how you look at the situation, and just let them react in the way that they're reacting. So this is how you're going to start slowly breaking from the pattern. They're going to react, they're going to shout, they might remove you from, I don't know, contact list. They might do lots of things. In some situations, the reactions can be very brutal. That's why people avoid them. But you know that they are necessary. These conversations are necessary, and we sometimes have to pull these people away from us. And majority of narcissists are unfortunately unaware of their narcissistic nature. Their ego is too loud, and they don't think that they're narcissists. They think that everything that they do is completely fine. Now, when someone else is unaware, you can make them aware. The only thing that you can do is just to control how you respond to different situations and how you react. So they are not supposed to stop taking, as I said. You're supposed to stop overgiving. And in my personal case, once I healed, and since I began my healing journey, I went so deeply into understanding where all these patterns were coming from that I even started analyzing my mom's and my dad's childhoods. I even started going to my grandparents that were still alive to ask about different information in order for me to be able to understand everything. Because once you build understanding, and once you, if you remember, or if you haven't watched the video about identity shift, make sure to watch it. But and manifestation, I think, I don't know which one I talked about this in the video about manifestation. So you cannot manifest and you cannot shift your identity until you feel still resentment and anger towards something. So in order for me to move out and heal from this loop, I had to also make peace with my parents. I had to make peace and accept why I've been treated the way I've been treated, that have taught me to be a people pleaser and a fixer. So I went to my grandparents, I talked to them. Once I understood why my parents were behaving in certain ways when I was a child, it was very easy for me to just know that, okay, love is not conditional. It's not that they don't love me if I don't do X, Y, Z and I don't meet their needs. It's just them operating from survival mode, operating from their wounds. Because as I said in previous videos, hurt people hurt people. That's why it's so important for us to all encourage each other to heal and to look inwards, to look and understand what are the things that are controlling us. So once I healed my wounds as a child, it was very easy for me to leave a person that I was dating that was very toxic and who had the exact same emotional patterns as my father in the comments and the triggers. Of course, things were coming in a different way. That's why at first it seemed like it was completely different. So the triggers from my father, for example, were sent in one way, because of course with my father I'm talking about different things. I wasn't talking about the same things with my father as I was talking about with the guy that I was dating. So my father was using these phrases in some situations. The guy that I was dating was using these phrases in different situations, and they might seem completely different on surface level, but the pattern is similar, and you cannot be aware of it unless you start journaling and analyzing and you start paying attention to the phrases that I mentioned. So let me repeat once again. First step, awareness. Second step, reframe the beliefs. Third step, take small actions. So build small momentum to start saying no. Fourth step was to prepare. So prepare before you go to them. Take pause, take time, buy time. Do something to buy time so that you can take a step back and come with another response. And the fifth step is repetition in order to be able to rewire your belief. So the more that you repeat saying no, the more that you try to reinforce the new belief and integrate this new belief, you will start it will start to become easier to say no and to start to get out of this loop. Because if you don't repeat it and if you don't become more conscious and aware of it on a day-to-day basis, it's gonna just keep going, keep going, keep going. It will trigger you. Your autopilot will respond in the same way over and over again, and you're getting nowhere. So in other words, the first step to break the cycle is mindfulness, becoming more self-aware, more consciously aware of the situation that you are in now. So the first thing to do is to first slow down and pay attention. Be more in the present moment, journal more so that you can teach your brain to pay attention to the things that are triggering you. Any questions? And do you resonate? Okay, let me check the chat. I forgot to check in the chat. Do you have any questions? And do you resonate with the things that I'm sharing? Have you tried any of the techniques that I'm sharing? Have you tried to do something about this problem before? If you are recognizing yourself in the people pleaser traits or fixer traits that I mentioned. So something that I can, something else that just came to my mind is to journal as well. Where does or how would the version of me that respects herself or himself react in different situations? Like, how do I practice self-respect? Try to envision the future version of you that is no longer a people pleaser, and write down as many details as possible to understand in which situation, how they would change in different situations. And you can also take it from there. You can take the lesson to prepare to meet the person that you're supposed to break this cycle with from the lessons from the future version of you. So let me just... And something else that I want you to remember is that such kind of people are taking so much energy from you. And something that I have been telling to myself while I've been through this healing journey, and I'm repeating this to myself even today, is I honor my energy and it's my responsibility to protect my peace. So whenever I feel that something is draining me and is disturbing my inner peace, it's immediately a no. As I wrote on Instagram, on the Instagram story, that I became unapologetically selfish about my well-being, that's what I mean. Whenever there is something that has been requested for me, I just first pay attention to my body, because I've trained to do this automatically. If I feel some tightness or if I feel like hesitation, I take time and I ask myself, is this something that I truly feel like doing, or it's something that I have to do and will drain me and will disturb my inner peace? If the answer is yes to the second one, it's a no. It's immediately a no. When I hesitate, but this is something that I have now trained myself to do. I don't expect you to know from the beginning when you start your healing journey. So when you start your healing journey, you will have to first practice. You will have to first learn how to spot them. This is the first step, building awareness to be able to find the triggers. And then once you practice more time, once you teach your brain to identify these patterns, like on the charts, it's patterns that you can spot. It's all about recognition. So we should teach the brain to recognize something. Once you teach the brain to recognize, it will be much easier for you to know, to make a faster decision. So even if I'm giving a trading example, the process is exactly the same. You first identify the patterns, you train your brain to identify the patterns that will remove the hesitation in the future, so that you can click the button with confidence and feeling calm. But if you haven't trained the brain to see the same patterns over and over again so that you're going to be comfortable with them, you're going to hesitate. And you're going to self-sabotage yourself. So the same principle is working everywhere. That's why whenever traders are approaching me and asking me for how to fix their trading problems, I always ask them, how is your personal life going? And then we can go into trading. Because I know that everything is coming from your personal life. Everything is coming from your beliefs, not the problems, the actual problems on the charts. So the problems are not the charts, it's your beliefs. Because the beliefs that you have are the ones that are making you to respond on the charts or to different people in a different way. I said that I'm gonna check the chat and I just kept talking. I don't know what sometimes I'm just like so let me check. Yeah, pen and paper uses different parts of the brain. Yes, I always encourage people to journal by hand, not digitally. I know sometimes I do it digitally only when I don't have my journal on hand and something is like really going through my mind and I'm like, I don't want to forget about this, I want to write it down. But it's much more important to journal. It's much better for the brain to journal by hand instead of using the keyboard. Hello, Chino. It's been a while. How are you? I missed you as well. Yeah, I was in Puerto Rico last month. Currently, I'm in Dominican Republic, and unfortunately, I'll have to leave Dominican Republic soon. But I'm really enjoying it here. It's incredible. Hey, Pedro. Hope you're well. Yeah. Yeah, narcissists are drama queens. They know how to cause drama for you to say yes. I was dating a narcissist for such a long time that I know all the possible ways how they're trying to play around. And of course, this is manipulation. But the most interesting thing was that I was aware, I could spot all the patterns, but until I healed the trauma, until I made peace, internal peace with my childhood conditioning, I couldn't let go. This is the most interesting thing, because I was writing in my journal for so long time. I know that this person is toxic. He's not affecting me. He doesn't have a good impact on me. I know that he's draining me. I know that he keeps me in X loop, but I couldn't just leave. Like something was, he would trigger me and I will go back, which is in people that know me from like in general, that know me, that are close to me, that know me from childhood. When I talk to one person, a friend of mine, about this person, because I never talk about relationship and dates, like this is super uncomfortable for me, if I'm gonna be honest, because I keep these things so private. So this is the first time that I'm like talking openly about it, and I've only talked about a person that I'm dating with my accountability partner. He knows everything about me, because he was keeping me on check for lots of things. So we were sharing with each other all kinds of ups and downs, because in trading we know that personal life issues affect trading a lot. So the only person that I was talking about such kind of problems was my accountability partner, sometimes my little sister when she wanted to listen, and not much with others. Now that I got out of it, it's easier to talk about it. And I only used to talk about it in situations when I see a person that is stuck in the loop where I was before, and give them an example so that they can get out of it. And this is exactly what I'm doing now. It's not comfortable and it's not cool to talk about this, of course, because you're sharing your personal life, vulnerable information with everyone, because I don't know who will watch this. The person that I'm talking about might be even watching this video. And as I said, like in some situations, some narcissists can go really far. So it can go to a point of physical violence. And that's the reason why I want to encourage people to truly start doing something about their lives. Because I know that there is a lot of physical violence in such kind of relationships as well. And it's a sensitive topic, but it's something that is necessary to talk about so that we can help each other to get out of this loop and to start living a lovely, fulfilling, and happy life. Because as long as you're trapped around such kind of people, and as long as you keep being the person that you are, you're not going to be happy, because your needs will never be met. And when your needs are not met, your dopamine is not at a healthy level, your oxytocin is not on a healthy level, nothing is on a healthy level. Like another example that I can give you is my trust issues. So since I was getting hurt and hurt and hurt over and over again, and these triggers were just sent to me, and I had difficulty stopping them and taking a step back, this built up a lot of trust issues, which made me not to be willing to connect with people a lot. So I was holding lots of things for myself. I was suppressing feelings instead of processing them. And all of this is spiking cortisol, causing lots of different diseases, making you a worse decision maker, slowing down your performance, messing up your sleep. It affects you in all possible ways. So that's why, yes, it's a topic that is out of my comfort zone, but I'm doing this because this is my new identity. And I know my mission, I know what is on my heart, and that's why I'm doing this. I've been dancing a lot here, and I love it. I love it so much. I'm gonna go dance tonight again. After, I usually do a gym session. The personal trainer in the gym session loves dancing, so I just push him, we start dancing. After the gym session, I just come back, shower, and then I go to the dance academy and I dance again. Or I would go for a walk or for running, and I would pass by a place where they have social dance and I would just join. That's how much I'm obsessed with dancing. Whenever I hear music, my blood circulation changes. And before when I was in survival mode, even though I knew how much dancing was making me happy, I was not giving the time to do it. Why? Because everything else was more important than my dancing. I had to help the person that I was dating with this task, with that task, with emotional being, or to a colleague. I was someone who helped every colleague that I had. Like, people that have been working with me, they know really well who was the go-to person for everyone. You're Caribbean and Lolo. Possible. It might be. I have to do a DNA. There are DNA tests to see all the mix of origins that you have. I have to do it. I believe there is something. There might be something Caribbean in me. And I'm adapting to the move so fast, so there might be something there. Okay, if there are no questions, I'm gonna slowly start wrapping it up. How did you, and let me know in the comments, what are the takeaways? What do you like to see in future videos? And also feedback. Like, I want to hear action steps that you've been taking. I want to hear realizations. I want to connect with you guys. I want to connect so that I can, the only way how I can help you is to connect with you. So make sure to drop in the comments the things that you're doing, the things that you're experiencing. If you get stuck somewhere. Okay, no questions. So thank you so much for joining the live stream. If you are watching this video after the live stream, I hope that you find it insightful and helpful. And make sure to leave a like if you like it. Just if you like it. I'm not asking for it. It's not mandatory. And share it with people that are supposed to hear the information that I shared in today's video. So take care. Sending you lots of love, hugs, and strength. And let's keep growing together. Bye-bye.